At that point, we're ready to plan for sending a human in space. Let's... Hello everyone, Thranx is here, and welcome back to Mars Horizon, where we're trying to catch up from a slightly catastrophic disaster and a couple critical launch failures despite our best efforts. At this point, what we really need is something to put a human being into space, which it comes with, I'm thinking, the Delta upper stage, the Redstone booster, and of course an astronaut training facility. Now I think this can be built first, because we can start building the payload to carry our astronaut into space before we need to actually build the rockets. The rocket components, but the vehicle components are going to take 7 months to build. They're significantly easier to research. Let's change that. Let's stick with my first thought, which was we'll do the Delta, then the Redstone. Okay, where are we at? Well, we're going to get a funding review. Hopefully we've done well. Oh, yes. Give me that funding. And solar wind monitoring vehicle is complete. Optimal, suboptimal launch windows are reversed for the TGM rocket. I think at this point, the science training is more valuable, and I think we'll just push it to April and see what we get. All right, we're looking for our lunar orbit launch. This will put us there third, although we don't get a milestone bonus because if we're not first, we're last. We took that trait when we created our space agency. But that science is delicious, and I would love to get some of that science for ourselves. Weather looks good. It's launch day for the Oriya May. 5% critical failure rate. That still would not have protected us from a 4% critical engine failure that we had the last time. But 82% launch reliability I very much like, and we have this huge area here for success. We are go for launch. Let's take some pictures of the moon, everyone. That's ignition. Come on. Looks pretty straight. Okay. Yeah. Looking good. Looking good. Okay. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Secure launch. A little bit of experience on the components we're using in the Oriya May. That's good. I like that. All right, so we need to try to get to lunar orbit. So the first thing we have to do is perform a translunar injection. This is going to require a good bit of navigation and some data as well. So we did pay for the observation module, but that's only going to help us once we actually get to the moon. I think first and foremost what we need to do is maybe a controlled burn. Actually, probably 2 controlled burns and then recharge the power. So let's go ahead. Let's initiate a controlled burn. Yeah! Fortuitously, a slight orbital drift has put the payload exactly where it needs to be. This command will generate an additional navigation. I accept these terms. Let's go. Controlled burn number 2. Yes. Very good. Control burn successfully completed. That puts us, I think, where we want another controlled burn, followed by a power generation, followed by maybe a signal return test. All right, another excellent controlled burn. Lucky drift. Oh, Fortune smiles on us a little bit. And a good signal return, check. Oh, that's delicious. So with that signal return, we're going to actually optimize our trajectory and then just recharge the battery, and that should get us right where we need to be. Okay, so we were not able to optimize our trajectory, but we have enough power to divert that we can actually pay for that up front. All right, we have performed the translunar injection. Next, we'll need to actually achieve lunar orbit. So this is a data-heavy request, but also comms. And this is where our planetary observation module is really going to come in handy. I'm thinking, first let's get the antenna aligned, followed by some visual spectrum sampling. And then maybe an orbital realignment. So first, let's get the antenna aligned. Very good. Get the visual spectrum sampled. And then an orbital realignment. Let's go. Perfect alignment on the orbit. So that's going to allow us to do some infrared mapping of the moon. And really then we should send a mission data update back to ground control. Actually, that might be... We might want a mission update just 3 times in a row. I think that's the right call, actually. Yeah, let's mission update multiple times. So the first mission data update, the ping returned from the payload was weaker than expected. Some data needs to be resent. It's going to cost us a data to do this. Let's divert the power to resist that. There we go. The second mission data update was successful. If it costs us a comm, we don't really need that. But if it costs us data we're going to be short on. And it does cost us data, so we're also going to divert more power. We're having trouble sending the data back to mission control. So I think what we're going to do now is just recharge the power and then sample the visual spectrum, and then we'll be fully complete with our bonus objectives. Okay, again, we're having some camera troubles. Electrical malfunction in the camera has resulted in reduced data generation. Command's output will be reduced by 1. Nope, we're going to spend the power. And that is a resounding success, finally. The third agency to orbit the moon. Not the end of the world, but no bonus milestone for us. We did, however, get bonus rewards from the mission itself. And that bonus science for 3 months is going to be really amazing. New request mission available on Earth. It would be nice to get some request missions available on the moon, maybe? Ooh, ionospheric measurements to measure the ionosphere. I think we have to take that. That's a straight payday. Do we spend the money? No, let's try to maximize the money. We should send a prototype, right? Maximize our money? No. No, we're going to send a regular payload. We're not going to cut corners. We need the mission to be as successful as possible. Group of children on the opposite side of the world have managed to pick up radio signals from your recent orbiting satellite as part of a school project. The story has been widely covered in the press. 100 support. Yeah, we'll send them the memorabilia. Your agency has sent a collection of memorabilia to the school, including miniature models of the satellite, and thanked the children for their scientific research. Ah, yes, Delta research is now complete, so now we're going to research the Redstone booster. Redstone research is complete. That was fairly quick. That's the science we got back from the lunar orbital. Very important. Okay, this ends up being a little bit of a wash again. Solar wind monitoring launch. Challenging mission, but it looks like we've got pretty good oh. The weather. Luckily, our TGM rocket is fairly reliable, but that is unacceptable. We're going to reschedule this launch window. I think that means we've got to push it all the way to September now. Which unfortunately means we cannot begin construction of the Mercury payload. That's all right, because we still need to research the astronaut training facility. So we have a little bit of time. I think the ionospheric measurements are also going to be a TGM rocket. So let's go ahead and begin construction on another one of those. All right, astronaut training facility has been completed. And let's see, the first TGM rocket for the lucrative one, launch reliability penalty for suboptimal launch windows has been reduced. That's good stuff, actually. That's good stuff. Let's improve launch reliability, but we don't really need it. And we'll just start with next month. Next month is fine. Let's get that money. Chase that cheddar. Medium launch pad. Did we even look at what this is going to require? Medium launch pad required. Yep, that's a requirement. We need to start researching that immediately. But here we can build our astronaut training facility. Finally. That's going to be a bit too expensive there. I think we could just end up doing this. 475. It ends up being a little bit... 450 is cheaper there, but there's no adjacency bonus to the hangar. I think we're better off just building it here. Yep. That's an important one. China has reached human space exploration. Japan completed satellite imaging. Wow. They're just doing so good. So here's the challenge that I'm noticing is half of the agencies go down one side, half of the agencies go down the other, and each one is fast at the one they pick. So even though we totally skipped Animal in Space and then totally skipped satellite imaging, we're still like trailing behind those that have chosen to do the ones we've chosen. Now we could push to a multi-crew orbit. We could just keep trying to forge ahead and forego these, but here's the kicker, right? To get to the crewed moon landing and or the commercial satellite, which this is really the one we need for money, you have to both have researched the orbital EVA and at least one exploratory mission here. Because it takes two. There's no possible way you can just rush down this side here, Gemini, orbital EVA, and then boom to the moon landing or the commercial satellite. You can't do that, in fact. So, what does that mean? Well, that means we need to keep researching the medium launch pad for now, and then we're going to need to backtrack and get this backup power and this research lab and finish out this for the demolition removal cost before we need to start expanding. Let's see, we are going to have to hire some astronauts, but we're going to wait until we're ready to do that. But first things first, we're going to place a satellite in Earth orbit to measure the fluctuations in the ionosphere. This is a lucrative mission, and we need the money. Look at that. Weather looks good. Adequate conditions. 7%. Let's go for launch.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The TGM rocket is fairly reliable at this point. We have ignition. Let's go, let's go. We need the money. Come on. Come on. Alright, it's looking good. We got this. Yes! Alright. How'd we do? Okay, so we had a negative event. -1 command on our first task. That's okay. At this point, the TGM rocket is as good as it's going to get. I did... Well, let's just see what we get. Okay, 2 and 2. That's not bad. 3 and 4 is the bonus reward. Yo, 50% on this is like a lot of money. $250,000, I believe, is what this is going to equate to. All right, let's stick with our tried and true signal return test, followed by -1 command. I'm tempted just to take the recharge power then. Let's just recharge the battery for this first one, right? Signal return test and then atmospheric sampling. That's pretty much where we go in life. So let's do that. Bad signal return test means it's going to take 2 power to get the comms that we need for the atmospheric sampling. Okay, at least something went right. Now I think we're looking at a data transmission followed by more atmospheric sampling. No, followed by power. It's going to be tough if we want that bonus reward, because then we set ourselves up the next turn to just do visual data collection twice. Or else we don't get it. We could go data transmission followed by atmospheric sampling. I think we actually do data transmission and then take a power generation. I think that's where we want to be with that. So let's do that. Data transmission. Oh, come on. The ground control really needed that data. We need 3. Right? Or do we? Do we just accept the 2? Let's accept the 2 and see what happens, right? So in the final turn, we're looking at data transmission, atmospheric sampling, and we have no energy to resist anything. So we can go atmospheric sampling, signal return, data transmission, atmospheric sampling. I think that's the way we do it, and we just hope for the best. There we go. Atmospheric sampling! Yes! Oh, just when we needed it to go right. That's good. That's going to keep our program funded a good bit. That's good. That's going to put us back up to where we were at when we originally got our space subsidy. Okay. At that point, we're ready to plan for sending a human in space. Let's get the better Mercury payload. The cost is a little bit more expensive, but I don't want to have any issues. But is the rocket going to be better? No, because if we have to do launch preparation planning, we will. We're taking the increased Mercury payload. 3 months' time. Okay. And we're still researching the medium launch pad. Okay? Race to space lost. News is dominated by China launching the first human into space. Bravado is cheaper than competence. Yeah, I think at this point we might have to... And the Soviet Union did it too. We might have to recognize we're not going to be first at many things. Maybe. It's tough. In the beginning, it's tough. Maybe we can start to build momentum and get ahead. We need more successes than failures, though. We really were put on the back foot with a couple of catastrophic failures early on. All right, looks like a good day for another TGM launch. This is for solar wind monitoring. Let's go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And that is ignition.
We have liftoff.
Okay. Holding. Good rise. Okay. Yep. Very good. And oh my gosh, a 98 plus 1 battery for the duration of the mission. Well, let's see if we auto resolve. Okay, so I did turn on auto resolve in the menu after the fact, even though I said we weren't going to, because I realized the more mission controls we get and the more extra missions we start to do, it might get tedious. But this is the reason why I'm hesitant to do it. If we roll this, we have a 5% chance to fail the mission and only a 27% chance for outstanding success. But I know darn well, with the extra energy, I can get an outstanding success. Like, I know we can. So, we just do a signal return test, followed by atmospheric sampling. It's kind of our bread and butter. Yep. There you go. Good atmospheric sampling. So then we use that for data transmission, followed by maybe another atmospheric sampling. That's probably right. If we end up a little bit ahead of where we want to be, that's okay. Right, so the atmospheric sampling failed, but I don't think we need the extra one because it's going to give us 2, and we can use those for 2 ground control connections. And that puts us where we want to be. Look at that. With an extra data. Ground control connections are good, and that's why I didn't want to auto-resolve. Only a 24% chance to achieve what we did ourselves in just a minute. Yeah. Bonus reward received. Now, what kind of requests do we have? Orbital radio. Does the moon have any requests? Okay, it does. Highly publicized. Moon micrometeorites with experimental fuel. I think we go for the far side of the moon. Send a probe to orbit the moon and photograph its far side. Highly publicized, I think, is good. We could use a little bit of support. But then the science. Launch reliability down for extra science. Let's do that one. We're trying to catch up on research. I think we're just going to send a standard Pioneer payload for this one to get as much reliability as possible. All right. Okay, let's go. The Mercury payload has been completed, and we got, yep, booster build time is less, but the upper stage is longer. So let's design a new rocket. We're not going to be able to reuse a design for this one, so what we need is the Delta upper stage, followed by the Redstone booster. This is what we planned for. Requires a medium launch pad, and we don't need the supplementary boosters at all. So the real question is, what will the name of this rocket be? I'm sure that's what everybody is wondering, the most important part, right? So it looks like this one is going to be Salty Picks. All right, woo, that one person was really excited. All right, removed. All right, this rocket will be known as Salty Picks. And we're going to save that design because I'm pretty sure we're going to use this one again and again as we do. All right, this is for the human in space. We're going to build it. We don't have a place to launch it yet. We don't have a place to launch it yet. Yeah, we need... Okay, one more month of research will get us the medium launch pad. Data from your recent artificial satellite mission has confirmed that belts of trapped radiation surround Earth, shielding the planet from the sun's cosmic rays. Okay, astronaut training facility is complete. Medium launch pad research is complete. For the payload for the moon micrometeorites, we're going to get launch reliability down, vehicle build costs reduced. That hurts. That hurts because this is the mission with experimental fuel. We're already looking at lower launch reliability. I can't see there being a benefit to using anything other than the Orion May. But that's frightening right there. We're going to have to do some launch reliability training. Hopefully we don't get another negative construction trait here. All right, let's begin construction. Now, for our Space Command headquarters here, we're going to need a medium launch pad, and I'm thinking, oh, no. Oh, we're going to have to pay 100 to move it. Oh, that's okay. We'll just move it there. Oh, that hurt. That hurt, though. But it was an expensive building. I mean, yeah, that's fine. That's the way it goes. Let's see. For the rest of our research, though, we need to focus on backtracking here a little bit. Let's get a spacecraft assembly facility up and running so that we can get to our backup power generator and get this demolition cost reduction. All right. And that means we're going to go to backup power generator next. And for our base here, let's build a spacecraft assembly facility. And we're going to build that right here, actually. Try to get as much of an adjacency bonus as possible. Payload reliability, payload build cost, vehicle build cost, payload build cost. I think that's the better bonus. And we're going to get a funding review. So we can take a look at that. The documentary crew has requested a tour of your astronaut training facilities. However, security advisors have pointed out that other agencies might be able to learn about your program if such a documentary were to be released. No. Refuse access. We are already way behind. We're not going to give anybody the science from our program other than our direct ally, Japan. That's not... We can't afford it. We can't. Soviet Union finally got to lunar orbit. Japan is pushing to a Mars flyby and a Venus impactor. What? Wow. Wow, this is going to end up being the only first milestone we got. Maybe. Maybe. The world's media is abuzz with the possibility of landing a human on the moon and the question of who will manage it first. Many are dismissing your agency's chances after you lost the race to launch the first human into space. They couldn't even get someone up in space first. I'll eat my brogues if they get to the moon before anyone else. I'm inclined to decline, to just say it's not going to happen. Like, I It's not going to help us to get support now if we lose support later, and we're definitely behind. Let's decline to enter the race. Your agency has refused to be drawn into the race. All of humanity will benefit from such an achievement, a spokesperson stated. No matter who gets there first. Truer words of somebody who's in last or not going to be first were never spoken. Like, that's exactly what that means. And ESA is going to get into space before us, too. They failed with their satellite imaging, though. Okay. All right. At this point, though, we're going to go ahead and call it for this one. I hope you've had a good time watching, because as always, I've had a good time playing. Until next time, take care.